Hello people, in this video let us look at the disposal technologies for healthcare waste. Okay, so you have healthcare waste, right, and you want to dispose this. So you want to know the disposal technologies for healthcare waste. You want to treat it and dispose this healthcare waste. So how will you do it? So there are many methods. Okay, so we have incineration, that's nothing but burning, chemical disinfection where you will add some chemicals, and wet and dry thermal treatment. So something like this, you will shred it and you will treat it thermally. Either you will give wet heat or dry heat. Then you have microwave irradiation. Here you can see microwave irradiation you can do, or you can do land disposal of waste, which is easy but really bad, right? Then you have make it inert, inertization, like mixing it with cement. Okay, so what are we looking at in this video? Treatment and disposal technologies for healthcare waste. Incineration, that is burn it at some 1000 degrees centigrade, just burn it, and or mix chemicals and disinfect them. And what is this? Wet and dry thermal treatment, microwave irradiation, land disposal, inertization. Okay, so we'll have to look at each of these in detail. So first of all, where are we? We are in hospital waste management. We have seen that there are many types of hospital waste. We saw that first of all, we will do waste segregation. The yellow non-chlorinated bags will get anatomical waste, blood, body fluids, blood bag, antibiotics, all medicines, chemical wastes, beds, right? So we have put everything in yellow. We have put a yellow bed here, right? So all these things will go into yellow dustbin. What will go into red? Plastics. All plastics will go into red, right? And all sharps will go into puncture-proof container, and all glass and metal will go into the blue cardboard box. So let us just look at what happens to each of these. The yellow, what is done to the yellow? It is incinerated, that it is burnt. Okay, plasma pyrolysis, deep burial. So that is what is done with yellow. What happens to everything other than yellow? No, they're talking about autoclaving. So for the red, for the plastics that you want to recycle, right? So autoclave. See, only for yellow it is incineration. For everything else they're talking about autoclaving. Okay, in overall you should remember. So red will be autoclaving. Then after autoclaving you will try to recycle the plastic. Then it comes to white, again autoclave. Then you will try to shred it, and then it will go into a pit. So this is a puncture. All these sharps will go into a pit. Okay. Then what about blue? Blue is glass and metallic. So you want to recycle. So again you will autoclave and recycle. Red also autoclave, recycle. Blue also autoclave, recycle, because you are recycling. This one, what about this sharps? Sharps you will autoclave and put it in, shred and put it in pit. Only the yellow they are talking about incinerate, plasma pyrolysis, deep burial, and chemically treat some things like chemical liquid waste. They want to do some pre-treatment, etc. So many ways of treatment and disposal, right, of healthcare waste. So each of these we'll have to look into details. What is incineration? What is chemical disinfection? What is wet and dry thermal treatment? What is microwave irradiation? What is land disposal? What is inertization? Okay, so quickly we'll look off once, then again we'll look in detail. What is incineration? Incineration means high temperature, around 1000 degrees. They will just burn everything. They'll get ash. All this heat and steam, they can use it to generate electricity, etc. Okay, and this is the process of incineration. We'll come to it. Incineration, what type of waste will you incinerate? There are some rules for it, right? How much of non-combustible, how much of combustible, how much moisture content should be there. That is the type of waste you incinerate. Remember, yellow goes to incineration. Waste that should not be incinerated, we will come to that. So types of incinerators, we have double chamber, single chamber, rotary kilns. Okay, we'll have to look at the details of this. Then what do you do with the ash that comes out of the incineration? So we are done with incineration. Next, what is it? It's going to be chemical disinfection. Chemical disinfection means you will add to blood, urine, stools, hospital sewage. You will add some chemicals like probably sodium hypochlorite, etc. It's more like a disinfection. Wet and dry thermal treatment. So here everything is shred, isn't it? Shred, and then you treat it with what? Thermal treatment. So just remember, it is thermal treatment. It is thermal treatment. So here you can give wet wet. So that means wet heat means what? Similar to autoclave, steam disinfection. Then you have dry. Dry means what they will do? They will have this screw feed technology. They're going to shred it in this rotating auger. They will shred it and they will dry thermal disinfection. We have to come to the details of each of these. Microwave irradiation. So basically you will use microwave. This is radiation, irradiation. It is some gigahertz, 2.5 gigahertz frequency. You can use that as microwave to disinfect. Then land disposal, guys. Where are we? We are in land disposal. What are we talking about? Treatment and disposal of what? Of healthcare waste, right? So land disposal or municipal disposal sites. In this you have two types. You have open dumps or you have sanitary landfills. Open dumps is very bad because it can come in contact with animals, humans, etc. Sanitary landfills are better where there is isolation of this place, right? A geological isolation will be there. Then a lot of engineering they will put into it, and they will control it, organize it, etc. So that is a sanitary landfill. Okay, we have to come to the advantages and disadvantages of this again. Then inertization, we told you about that cement, and they will try to mix it and they will try to inertize it. And there are some other things they are talking about, like some encapsulation. Then there is a lot of legislation for waste disposal practices. You have Ministry of Health, Ministry of Environment, etc. And according to UNCED, that is United Nations Conference on the Environment and Development, you should try to reduce the production of waste, okay? And you should try to reuse, recycle. You should treat it by safe methods and dispose of the final residue in confined, carefully designed sites. Okay, first reduce the production of waste, they are saying. Okay, so this is what we want to look at in this video. A lot to be looked at, isn't it? So let's look at incineration first. What do you say? Let's get started with incineration. Incineration means what? At 1000 degrees centigrade, a high temperature, dry oxidation process. This is aerobic. You will give it air and you will burn everything, right? So you will convert organic waste, you will convert organic and combustible waste into inorganic. You convert this into inorganic incombustible matter. So organic and combustible waste is going to be converted into inorganic and incombustible matter. Okay, so basically what is the benefit here? You're reducing the waste volume and the weight. So you'll just get ash, right? So that the volume will be less and the weight also will be less. So this is what is the benefit. You're just going to reduce the waste volume and weight. So you remember everything that went into the yellow dustbin can get incinerated. The anatomical waste, the blood bags, etc., blood beds, antibiotics, etc. Just incinerate them. So this process, usually what will you not put? You will not put things that you can recycle, reuse, etc. Right? In that and all you will not put here. So this is the process of the burning. Let's see here. So first they are putting the waste here. You can see here the waste is going in here. Right? This is a furnace. This can be a double chamber or single chamber furnace, and it's aerobic. So you're giving air here. There is a lot of fire here. It'll burn. Everything will burn. And what will happen? You will get here flue gas. There's something called as a flue gas here. Flue gas. So there is some flue gas. Okay, flue gas. Remember, some steam you will get. You can use it to generate electricity, etc. And then remaining exhaust gas will go to the atmosphere. Okay, they'll have a very tall chimney. Below, what is getting collected? Let's see here. Below the furnace, what is getting collected? Obviously ash, right? Ash is getting collected here. And they are also having some water, okay? Some water is coming out here. Here steam is coming out. Here water and ash. And some ash can be there in the flue gas also. So ash again is there here also. In the flue gas also some ash is there, okay? So basically what comes out of the furnace, guys? Flue gas comes out of the furnace and steam also comes out of the furnace, okay? So this is simplified flow scheme of incinerator. How's it going? Shall we move on? Okay, let's move on. Types of waste that you will put in an incinerator. The good thing is you don't need any pre-treatment here, right? You don't need any pre-treatment of the waste. You'll just take all that anatomical waste, antibiotics, beds. What else did they show in yellow? Right, all that you will take, and what should be there? You should have combustible matter should be there. Above 60% combustible matter should be there. That's important, right? It should burn. It should be something that will burn. A bed will definitely burn, I'm sure. Combustible matter above 60% should be there. Non-combustible should be less than 5%. We don't want non-combustible. We want combustible. Okay, and then there are some other things. Moisture content should be less. Obviously, moisture content should be less. If moisture content is more, what will happen? It will not burn, isn't it? Then, what is this? Low heating volume. Okay, for double chamber incinerators, 3500 kilocal per kg. And for single chamber, 2000 kilocal. Just remember low heating volume. What do they mean by fines? Any idea? Okay, so let's move on now. Waste that should not be incinerated. Obviously, everything that you want to recycle, reuse, that you will not incinerate, isn't it? And pressurized gas containers, would you put them in the fire? No, not at all. You will not put them. Large amount of reactive chemical waste. Will you put some reactive chemicals? No, you will not try to burn them. Silver salts, photographic or radiographic. Will you try to burn radiographic waste? Halogenated. You will not burn plastics. Obviously, you want to recycle, right? You will not put plastics. You don't want to burn plastics. Then mercury, cadmium. You will not put all this. All these will produce dangerous gases, isn't it? So ampules. Why will you put ampules? Sealed ampules can contain something. So sealed ampules or ampule containing heavy metals. Heavy metals and all you should not burn. Okay. Batteries. Waste with, what is this? High mercury, cadmium, broken thermometers. Obviously that will have mercury. Used batteries, lead lined wood panels. So lead and all they don't like. They have mentioned it already here. Yeah, lead is a metal. Okay, so all these things don't incinerate. What shouldn't you incinerate? Plastic, recyclable stuff, reusable stuff, heavy metals, mercury, then pressurized gas container, chemicals, radiographic waste, PVC, plastics, cadmium, batteries, ampules containing heavy metals, sealed ampules, all these you will not incinerate. Okay. Types of incinerators. Where are we here? Types of incinerators. Yes, so we have seen what type of waste goes into incineration. Now let us look at types of incinerators. Now incineration also has so many types. You have double chambered pyrolytic incinerators, single chamber furnaces and rotary kilns. See, double chamber is something like this. You have one chamber and one more chamber, something like this. Okay, you can remember 2 chambers are there in the furnace. Then single chamber are there, and rotary kilns. Rotary means something like this. So remember, incinerators, guys, there are basic incinerators to very high-end incinerators which are so sophisticated and high temperature, etc. You will choose whatever you can afford or which is good. Double chamber pyrolytic chambers, they are designed to burn infectious healthcare waste. So this is the best. What do you say? Designed to burn infectious healthcare waste. What about single furnace? These single chamber furnaces with static grate. It should be used only if these double chamber are not affordable, etc. So double chamber is what they are suggesting. Rotary kilns, these operate at high temperatures. They are capable of decomposing genotoxic substances and heat resistant chemicals. So they are capable of operating at high temperatures and they are capable of decomposing genotoxic substances and heat resistant chemicals. Okay. So they seem to like rotary kilns. What do you say? They seem to like rotary kilns. Okay. So let's move on then. So what are the 3 types of incinerators you saw here? Double chamber pyrolytic incinerators, single chamber furnaces, rotary kilns. Let us look at the advantages and disadvantages also. So first of all, pyrolytic incineration, very high disinfection efficiency for all infectious waste, pharmaceutical, chemical waste. Okay. Then what about the disadvantage of this pyrolytic, that is double chamber one? Incomplete destruction of cytotoxics. High investment, operating cost. Yep, there are 2 chambers, high investment, operating cost. Okay. Now let us move on to single chamber incineration. Single chamber incineration, it is good disinfection. Drastic reduction in weight and volume. Residues may be disposed of in landfills. No need of high trained operators. This is single chamber, so no need of high trained operators. Low investment, low. Okay. What is disadvantage? Emissions into the atmosphere are more You need to keep removing the slag and the scot. Inefficiency in destroying thermally resistant chemicals such as cytotoxics. So obviously single chamber is easy to use, etc. and all that, but it is not as efficient. Now coming to rotary kiln, it is effective for all infectious waste, most chemical waste and pharmaceutical waste. Most chemical waste they are saying here. This is high investment and operating cost. Very similar to the double chamber one, right? And lastly, they have one more here in this table, interestingly. Drum or brick incinerator. So there's a drum or a brick. What is this? Drum or brick. Drastic reduction in weight or volume. Low investment, low operating cost, emission of black smoke. That's all we can remember here. Black smoke, fly ash, toxic flue gas, odor. And it destroys only 99% of the organisms. And it does not destroy chemicals, pharmaceuticals, massive. It's going to be a huge one. Is it? Black smoke, we can remember. What do you say? Black smoke. So at this point, what have we completed? We have completed types of incinerators. Still incinerators, only one slide is there, I think. What do you do with the ash? Interestingly, the ash also is considered hazardous, is it? It is disposed of through hazardous waste treatment, etc. Fine. Hazardous waste. The incineration ash shall be disposed through hazardous waste. Okay. Next, chemical disinfection. So this mainly whatever we have seen now is incineration is over. Remaining all very small topics only. Nothing to worry. Let us look at chemical disinfection. So you're going to add chemicals and disinfect. What will you add? Something like sodium hypochlorite probably. What will you add it to? To blood, urine, stools, hospital sewage, etc. Even to sharps they can add to disinfect. So advantages, disinfection is going to be there. And it is relatively inexpensive. Some of the chemicals are relatively inexpensive. Some chemicals are relatively inexpensive. What about the disadvantages? Highly qualified technicians are required for this. Really, to add chemical, you need highly qualified technicians. Then you will be using hazardous substances to disinfect. Interesting. And it is not enough for pharmaceuticals, chemicals, etc. Moving on, guys, wet and dry thermal treatment. So this is nothing but thermal treatment. You can have wet thermal treatment or dry thermal treatment. Remember, you will always shred, okay? First you will shred and then you will give thermal treatment. So you can give wet thermal treatment or dry thermal treatment. Wet thermal treatment means what? Steam disinfection. Very similar to autoclave. And then you have dry thermal treatment, like this rotating auger will shred it, and then you will get dry thermal treatment. So screw feed, this looks like screw, right? Screw feed. You will shred it and heat it in rotating auger. So you will reduce the volume also. The weight also will reduce, okay, because of dry thermal treatment. This one is suitable for sharps, okay? This is suitable for sharps, you can remember. Infectious wastes and sharps. So this you can remember for sharps. That's enough. So let us look at the advantages and disadvantages of wet thermal treatment. Wet is like autoclaving, environmentally sound, relatively low investment, etc. What about the disadvantage? Shredders. Shredders will keep breaking down, it seems. So shredders will break down. They will not function properly. You need qualified technicians. I think you can write this for everything on earth. Qualified technicians you need. For almost everything you can write this. Inadequate for, for what are you using? For sharps, etc. They said for dry screw feed technology. Okay. Let's move on. Microwave irradiation, guys. Microwave irradiation. So we are in the fourth one now. Just two more to go. Very small ones anyways. Microwave irradiation, gigahertz of frequency, right? So you will give for what? So basically, any waste will contain some water. Let us say if it contains water, the water within the waste is rapidly heated by these microwaves, and the infectious components are destroyed by heat conduction. Infectious components are destroyed by heat conduction. Okay, that is about microwave. Microwave irradiation. So you will have to microwave it and then you will have to check whether it is effective or not. What are the advantages? Good disinfection efficiency. Good disinfection efficiency under proper operating conditions. You will have good disinfection. Drastic reduction in waste volume. How did the volume reduce? Okay. Then Environmentally sound, it's good for environment, is it? What is the disadvantage? Relatively high investment and operating costs. Potential maintenance problem. Okay, potential operation and maintenance problem. Again, you will say you need qualified staff and all that you can write. What do you see? So let's move on to the last but one, land disposal. Only two more left, guys. Land disposal and then inertization. We'll finish off. Don't worry. Land disposal, this is really easy. Just go and throw the garbage somewhere. So here you have open dumps and sanitary landfills. Open dumps means what? It is like just open. People, animal, everything can come in contact with this water, etc. can come in contact, contaminate the entire world. Then you have sanitary landfills. Sanitary landfills are like geological isolation will be there of this. Then they will handle it properly. They will engineering how to accept the waste and how to control the operation of the site, organize, etc. So many things are there here. So basically, remember for this landfill, you should remember it is easy. It's low cost, right? It is safe, they are saying, if the site is access restricted, etc. And yeah, it is safe if you restrict the access to the site. You need a lot of space though, right? Now lastly, coming to inertization. So basically, you will take toxic substances, mix it with cement, etc. to prevent the waste from entering water. So you want to keep them locked up in cement so that they don't enter water. Okay. So you will take pharmaceutical waste and mix it with lime, cement, water, and then you will create cubes or pellets of it, and then you will transport it to suitable storage sites. And probably they use it to build something. What do you say? This is actually inexpensive, they say, but it is not applicable for infectious waste. So guys, we are done with all the 6 we wanted to see. Incineration, chemical, what was that? One second. Chemical disinfection, wet and dry thermal treatment, microwave irradiation, land disposal, inertization. So all these 6 we have finished in this video. Let's take a recap. Incineration, high temperature, burn, and you'll get some flue gas here, you'll get ash here. The type of waste you will put is anatomical waste, etc. The yellow bin, remember? And it should be combustible matter, should be above 60%. And then types of incinerators, you have double chamber, single chamber, rotary kilns. And you have the ash which should go into hazardous waste. Chemical disinfection, disinfect with some chemicals. Wet and dry thermal treatment, shred and do some thermal treatment. Microwave irradiation, gigahertz, remember. Water contained in the waste will conduct this heat and it will kill the infectious components. Land disposals, you have open and sanitary. Sanitary is better. Inertization, mix with cement, etc. And then just make some cubes, pellets, etc. That's all for now in this video on treatment and disposal technologies for healthcare waste. Bye bye.